As the winter wind howled outside, I never expected to find my grandmother Eleanor shivering on our doorstep, locked out in the bitter cold of Christmas Eve. The sight of her frail figure, hunched against the biting chill, shattered the illusion of warmth and cheer emanating from our family's festive gathering inside. I'm Ava, a senior forensic auditor with the U.S. Treasury's Elder Justice Initiative, and little did my family know that their celebration was about to come to an abrupt end with my words. The contrast between the neglected elderly woman outside and the jovial atmosphere within our home was stark and unsettling. Inside, my father David, mother Susan, and brother Mark were engrossed in their annual holiday traditions, seemingly oblivious to the absence of the family matriarch. As I ushered Eleanor into the warmth of the house, the realization of my family's true nature began to crystallize in my mind. For months, I had harbored suspicions about my family's treatment of Eleanor, who was in the early stages of dementia. My position at the Treasury, which my family dismissively referred to as that of a boring bookkeeper, had actually provided me with the skills and authority to monitor their financial activities. What I discovered was a pattern of exploitation that made my blood run cold. My father, once a respected military officer, had been making unauthorized withdrawals from Eleanor's accounts. My mother, a former intelligence analyst, had been manipulating Eleanor's medical records to exaggerate her cognitive decline. And my brother, a rising star in local politics, had been pressuring Eleanor to change her will in his favor. They viewed her not as a beloved family member, but as an obstacle to her wealth. As the evening wore on, I watched my family's facade of love and unity with growing disgust. The Christmas tree, adorned with ornaments passed down through generations, now seemed to mock the very idea of family legacy. The carefully wrapped gifts beneath it were nothing more than props in an elaborate charade of caring. Drawing on my training and the authority vested in me by my position, I had taken steps to protect Eleanor before this night. A durable power of attorney, signed when she was still of sound mind, gave me the legal right to act on her behalf. With this document, I had frozen Eleanor's assets, ensuring that my family's greed would not deplete her life savings. As the clock struck midnight, marking the arrival of Christmas Day, I knew it was time to confront the truth. The cheerful holiday music playing in the background faded to white noise as I stood up, my heart pounding but my resolve unshakable. "I have something to say," I announced, my voice cutting through the festive chatter. All eyes turned to me, expressions of curiosity quickly morphing into concern as they registered the seriousness of my tone. "For months, I've been investigating the financial abuse of our grandmother," I began, watching as shock and then denial flashed across their faces. "I have undeniable evidence of unauthorized withdrawals, manipulated documents, and attempts to coerce changes to her will." The room fell silent, the only sound, the crackling of the fireplace, and the soft whimper from Eleanor, who sat confused but somehow aware of the gravity of the moment. I produced a file containing bank statements, medical records, and recorded conversations, a damning compilation of their misdeeds. "As of this moment, Eleanor's assets are frozen," I continued, my voice steady despite the turmoil of emotions, "and I am invoking my power of attorney to ensure her safety and well-being." The facade of family unity crumbled before my eyes. My father's face, once proud and commanding, now twisted with rage and fear. My mother's carefully cultivated image of sophistication shattered as she began to stammer excuses. Mark, always the smooth talker, found himself at a loss for words. In that moment, I saw them not as the family I had grown up with, but as the criminals they had become. Their greed had corrupted the bonds of kinship, turning what should have been a celebration of love into a den of deceit. As the reality of their situation sank in, I turned to Eleanor, who looked lost and vulnerable amidst the chaos. "It's okay, Grandma," I said softly, taking her hand. "You're safe now. We're leaving." With the help of a caregiver I had arranged beforehand, we gathered Eleanor's belongings and prepared to depart. My family, still reeling from the revelation, made no move to stop us. Their world had been upended, and they knew that any attempt to interfere would only worsen their predicament. As we stepped out into the cold night air, now tinged with the first light of Christmas morning, I felt a weight lift from my shoulders. The path ahead would not be easy, but it was the right one. Eleanor would be moved to a secure environment where she could receive the care and respect she deserved. In the year that followed, my life transformed in ways I could never have imagined on that fateful Christmas Eve. I thrived professionally, leading my own investigative unit dedicated to combating elder financial abuse. But more importantly, I found peace in a new home, shared with Eleanor, far from the toxic narrative my family had woven. Our days were filled with simple joys, shared meals, gentle walks in the garden, and quiet evenings, reminiscing over old photo albums. Eleanor's condition stabilized in the nurturing environment, and though her memory remained fragile, her spirit brightened with each passing day. The echoes of that Christmas night faded, but the lessons remained. I had learned the true meaning of family, not defined by blood or tradition, but by love, respect, and the courage to stand up for what is right. Months later, as I sat in my office reviewing case files, a message from my brother appeared on my screen. Financial ruin had finally caught up with my parents and him. Mark's plea for help was desperate, laced with apologies and promises of change. For a moment, I hesitated, the ingrained instinct to help family warring with the hard-earned wisdom of the past year. But as I looked at the photo of Eleanor and me on my desk, smiling and at peace, I knew what I had to do. With a click, I archived the message, choosing to protect the new life and legacy I had built. My family had made their choices, and now they would face the consequences. My responsibility was to those who truly needed protection, Eleanor and the countless other elderly individuals vulnerable to exploitation. As I turned back to my work, I felt a renewed sense of purpose. The path I had chosen was not always easy, but it was right. And in that righteousness, I found a strength and peace I had never known before. This Christmas Eve, as Eleanor and I decorate our small tree and share stories of holidays past, I am grateful for the journey that brought us here. It's a reminder that sometimes the greatest gifts come not from under the tree, but from within ourselves. The courage to speak truth, the strength to protect those we love, and the wisdom to build a life of integrity and compassion. If you've been moved by this story, remember that elder abuse is a real and pressing issue in our society. Your vigilance and action can make a difference. Share this video to raise awareness. And don't forget to subscribe to our channel for more stories that shine a light on important social issues. Together, we can create a world where every elderly person is treated with the dignity and respect they deserve. Like, share, and join us in making a difference, one story at a time.